right. We are back. The back-to-back games after a tough loss against the Connecticut Sun. The Sparks are back against Aneka, Aguma K, the Sparks legend, here inside of Crypto. She's here with her Seattle Storm team. It's going to be a big matchup. You can feel the energy in the air already. I'm Mike Matthew here with LA Sparks Weekly, here with the one and only DJ Treacy Trees. DJ, how do you feel about tonight's game with this matchup against NECA?
I feel great because Rakia just passed up NECA in her Sparks rookie statistics. So now she is number 2 for points scored, and it's only going to get bigger today. So we have an opportunity to forge a new path in Sparks history, and I think that's what it feels like today. That's that new energy that we talked about. You wouldn't feel like, it doesn't really feel like we lost last night. But we did.
And you know, I always feel they going to get one of these games. I've been thinking to myself, they going to get one of them, and tonight can be the night. What is it going to take tonight for the Sparks to pick up this victory over the Storm?
I think it's going to take execution. They got to do all the things right, make limited amounts of mistakes because Seattle will exploit those mistakes. You got Gabby over there. You got Jewel Lloyd over there. You got Neko Agumake, Skylar Diggins, Jordan Horston. I was just watching them shooting around. So it looks like we're going to need to stop them from that three-point line. Hoping they don't get hot at all and we can just do the things that we do well.
And you know, I'm gonna just wipe away yesterday's game because it was tough. But Sunday when they played, they showed a lot of greatness for 3 quarters until that 4th quarter is when they got hogged down. Hey, yesterday in the 1st quarter they showed some solid play. What is it going to take, like, with the starting lineup, what type of energy do they need to come out with? What type of productivity do they need to come out with to start off? Because yesterday they started great, but it ended up going bad. So how do you keep that energy from a great start and carry that over?
Well, you know, they played right last night. Seattle didn't play last night. So we have the advantage of just being a team that's already warmed up. You know, we got to come out fast. We need 14 points from Rakia in the first half. We need De'Erica to have double digits in the first half. You know, all those things. If we can get at least 4 players in double digits, I think it'll be offensively impossible for us to lose.
And then you saw somebody like Azure go crazy last night on the board, 17 rebounds. Just tonight in this matchup, she's going against NECA. She's going to have to deal with her. What do you think that she can do tonight to kind of make it tough on NECA?
Well, Azure has size, and she's been playing more aggressively. So you have an opportunity to really catch someone by surprise that you actually have an advantage over.
I agree.
Ezzy over there on the Seattle side. Now that's the matchup for Azure. Ezzy is a rebounding queen, but you know what? Azure showed us a little bit of her inner Dennis Rodman. I'm hoping she come out here today and do the same, but add some 3-point shooting onto that because that always takes the offense. The defense by surprise and then spreads the floor for the rest of the team.
And I'm just happy to see, you know, this matchup with De'Erica, with NECA. You know, they played together, or even Azure as well. They played together last year. I know they picked some things up that they carried over, so it's going to be fun. But it's not just us talking to you. We got Coach here with the pregame presser.
This is Broadcast After Dark.
We'll start with DJ. Profanity.
Hey, Coach DJ.
Deja vu, we're back.
I know, right? And I'm not going to ask you the same question that I asked last night. Based on your scouting and our game plan today, what do you think is our biggest threat, like, from Seattle on that side?
Which are?
I'm sorry.
What are they?
What are they? Yeah, what's their biggest threat? Sorry about that.
You know, again, there's never one thing, but their balance with people that they can play through. They can be really, really dynamic. We got to get them out of transition. Is a big concern because of the pace that they can play at. But you know, it's their balance. You know, you stop one person, and they have multiple people that can go for 20 plus. You know, that really, really dynamic starting lineup. So, you know, that's your biggest fear is you take away some things, but you have to pick your poison, right? It might open the door up for other people in the coverages that you're going after to potentially have opportunities. So, you know, it's hard just to focus with Seattle's starting lineup on one thing. So you have to be really, really intentionally solid all around.
Thank you.
Yep.
What have you noticed about what Gabby has brought them since she rejoined the team?
That she took a 2 and 3 in Paris, thankfully, instead of a 3. You know, sorry, I just have flashbacks of that gold medal. So, you know, dynamic athlete, two-way player, you know, brings them a true slashing three, in a 1-2 punch, or, you know, now real good depth at the 3 position with Jordan Horston and Vivian's. But she can really slash to the basket. She brings them another rebounder and someone that can really defend. So, you know, a real important cog for them. So, but the athleticism, you know, as we all know through the years, is just off the charts for Gabby. And so, you know, she can bring electric play. She can really energize a team with her effort. She's physical, as we all saw in the Olympics. You know, she is a really physical offensive and defensive player. So a really nice addition for them.
Hey, Coach. You've mentioned a lot in the past about back-to-backs. Second night of back-to-back, a team will come out, you know, extremely energized and having a guard against that. How do you preach that to your team now with you being on the second night of a back-to-back?
Yeah, you know, again, there's something to be said on back-to-backs that you get into a rhythm quicker because of the opportunity to, you know, play consecutive nights. There's no rust. So, you know, I'm really excited to see if we can come out ready to go and energized. We gave them the morning off and didn't have a traditional shoot-around just because this is our 3rd game in 4 days to try to get a little bit of their legs back. So our prep for this game is short, but, you know, I feel confident that we've had really solid stretches against Seattle, and the last time we played them here, we really, you know, again, a really close game in the 4th quarter. So I'm excited about the challenge that they pose. We got to step back up to the mat. We've talked about this being our playoff week, and this is game 1. So despite us playing last night, you know, I'm looking forward to the challenge to step back up. And I'm asking, you know, like someone to be an energy giver. And so, you know, when you have a couple energy givers, it's hard not to follow those people. So looking for a lot of energy and fight out of the gate for us.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Hey.
We're back. We just heard from Coach. He understands where we're at in this moment in time of the season. He just wants to see growth. He gave us a lot of passion last night in his post-game presser, and he's just like, hey, of course this losing is affecting me. I'm a coach used to winning, but I'm seeing some small things. And we heard from Coach Henry, who said, hey, we're seeing small wins within this team. Maybe they can turn one of those things into a win tonight, but what small wins have you seen here down the stretch from the Sparks team, DJ?
I think our defense.
Okay.
I think our defense has been rock solid, and those are the quarters that you're talking about that we're winning. When we play great defense, our offense really flows. It's easy, right? We're not forcing shots because we're playing great defense. We want to see more of that, rinse and repeat. Also, having fun. You know, I think a lot of the pressure is off with this losing streak thing. It's like, all right, we done already lost out of the playoffs. And then Coach has been referencing this series as like our mini playoffs, which gives us a good opportunity to see what they would be like, and then we get to assess where they at on that term. So I think we just got to really play great defense, and then our offense will click.
Yep, so before we go, we always got to do it. Pick that player that we think that's going to shine the brightest tonight. DJ, I'm going to start with you. Who's that player you think that's going to ball out to possibly help the Sparks win?
I think it's Odyssey Sams tonight.
Ooh,
and I say that because of this matchup.
Okay.
You going against Jewel Lloyd, who's going to be running all over the floor. I think she's going to be nice and warmed up and in an aggressive mood, because it's like she not going to want to keep getting beat by Jewel all night. So she's going to turn up her game a little bit more. Hopefully spread the ball around, get some extra assists too. Okay. I'm expecting Odyssey to step up and be a leader tonight.
For me, I could cheat. I could say De'Erica. I can say Rakia, but I'm not going to go there. I think that Ray showed some struggles last game, but this is going to be a game that she finds the time to bounce back. She's one of those young players, other than Rakia, that, you know, Coach is really looking at giving her every opportunity to grow her game, to do some things. I think she's going to knock down some shots. She's going to have to guard Jewel Lloyd. She's going to make it as tough as possible, and I think she's going to do a solid job. So, hey, that's it here, LA Sparks Weekly here with our pregame show. Be back for the postgame. Game 1 of this playoff matchup that Coach Kurt Miller says he's ready for. I hope you guys enjoy.
What's going on, Infanity TV? It's DJ Treese, and we are here on the back-to-back game, and I got a special assistant coach with me, Coach Camille Smith. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so let's talk about today's matchup.
Okay.
You know, before we jump into some other stuff about the team and where we at, today specifically, we're going to be in the present.
Right.
What are some things that you're looking forward to in regards to development from a couple of the previous games to today's game?
I'm looking forward just to see how we respond, right? This is an easy day to make excuses. It's an easy time to say you're tired and use fatigue as an excuse. So I'm interested to see how we respond as a team and if we're going to just be able to approach this challenge with some toughness.
Yeah, and Coach Miller was talking about how we're kind of treating this as our mini playoff series,
Right.
if you will.
Right.
Where would your assessment be of where we are so far in those first two games versus, you know, where we want to be these next two games?
Well, we've grown. I think there's small steps, but we have a tendency of taking 2 steps forward and then taking 4 back, right? And so my biggest thing is the growth should be steady and consistent. And
Yeah.
so that's our biggest thing right now is consistency, and we haven't shown that throughout the season.
Love that. So when we get the consistency part and we add that to the build that we're currently in, perfect world, where are we next year, just from your mind and assessment
I
so
think
far?
we are a totally different team once consistency starts to play a part. And I think once they understand the confidence that it takes to do that, the work ethic and just the approach. I think when you're young, you don't know how to approach the game, and so I think this year has been a telltale sign of that. And so if they use this season to grow from it, I think it'll change our mentality coming in the next season.
And you talked about young players, so I'm gonna bring Rakia because
Okay.
we interviewed her and she said that she really liked playing 1v1 versus you because you got game, she respects your game. How is it working?
That's funny.
How is it working with the young
Now
players?
she's just gonna lie on TV.
She be getting cooked.
Do I? Do I? Yeah. Do I? That's why she
Listen,
ran away. She knows
listen.
better. She knows better. No, I like to just obviously I don't play anymore.
Yep.
But in order for me to show them and tell them what I believe, sometimes you have to show people. And you want them to feel like you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
And until I can't move anymore,
That's right.
I'll jump in as much as I can and be safe. But I want them to just feel the physicality of the game and prepare for that because it's different.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes I think we take things for granted and we don't understand the mentality it takes to play in this league is tough.
Yeah.
People are really strong. The game goes really, really fast. And so if I'm almost 40 and I can stay in place with you, you're not going fast enough.
Yep.
And I want them to understand that. And also, at 40, I still got it.
That's listen, LX Sparks Weekly, you heard it here first. Listen to this intensity. Almost 40 out here doing it, playing with the young
sure,
players.
for sure.
We here with assistant coach Camille. Thank you so much for
You're
joining
so
the show
welcome.
and have a great game today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What's up, guys? Mike Matthew here with LA Sparks Weekly with assistant coach Nola Henry. So we got somebody bothering us in the background, but hey, it's going to be a lot of fun. Tonight, you know, you get to match up against NECA in the Seattle Storm. Just thinking about the season, you're working with a lot of young players, a lot of young talented players at that. Like, what is it like coaching these young ladies?
Oh man, it's been amazing coaching these young ladies this year. You know, despite the record, we've grown and learned a lot, and so it's just been fun to go through that learning process with them as they, as they transition into the league. Speaking specifically to Rakia and Cam when she was back, it was just a lot of fun. You know, just helping, trying to speed up that learning curve for them as they transition to the WNBA.
And what type of growth with their transition has you seen? You know, of course, Cam going down early, it kind of hurt her, but she gets to watch the game and sit there and learn from you guys right there sitting on the bench. And then what is the growth that you've seen from Rakia with her play, especially after the All-Star break?
Yeah, definitely. Rakia's growth has been, man, it's been tremendous just to watch. Watching her just throughout the draft process, you kind of had an idea of what she was able to do. Just didn't know how soon those skills would transfer to the league.
Okay.
So just seeing her be able to transfer those skills so quickly and be so efficient to do it against some of the better defenders in the league. She's kind of drawn everybody's best defender in the league this year, and she's still been able to find success scoring at all three levels, and just really her confidence. But I would say specifically on the defensive end, you've seen a lot of growth and improvement post-Olympic break, because for that month while we were off, we had a little bit of time to kind of break down a lot of those just defensive fundamentals with her, and you saw them quickly translate post-Olympic break.
So then you also have some young players like Zaya, like Ray that you really work with. You work with a lot of the wings. What is the growth that you've seen from those two in particular?
Yeah, definitely. While we don't always get to see the growth that Zaya has made on the court, you know, in the games, she's been making tremendous just growth in general, from being able to go from playing a lot in college and then having to take a little bit of a backseat, but still being eager to learn, rather that's through learning from some of Ray's mistakes who was in the game playing, or just some of the mistakes in practice that I kind of talked to her about. But Zaya's biggest growth has been in her mentality. So while we don't get to see it, eventually we will. She's been great. And then Ray, I mean, her potential is insane. So just to see her be able to have opportunities that maybe she didn't have her first 2 years in the league, it's been good. So she goes out there every night, she plays hard, and she's always willing to learn. She's really coachable. All three of those who I work with specifically, they've always been super easy to coach, and so they make my job a lot easier when they're so open-minded and they're so receptive to being able to take feedback that isn't always great.
Yeah, and you know, as a coaching staff, you guys have had a big challenge this year. Players in, players out. It's just, you know, a crazy pattern that you guys deal with. Just as a staff, how have you guys been able to handle this year? Because it seems like the ladies are still fired up to play every night. They show a lot of love towards you guys with the things they have to say. So how are you guys able to kind of keep them focused and keep yourselves focused with this long season?
Yeah, I think I would say that's just a product of being able to see the bigger picture, right? I think we all understand what the bigger picture is here. So while we don't always get the result we want in terms of a win, we've had a ton of small wins, and we've made a lot of growth and improvement just on the court in terms of defensively and offensively. So I think it just comes from being able to understand the big picture and realizing that the work that you put in, you don't always see the results right away, right? You plant the seed and then eventually the fruit grows. So I think in the next few years, the next year or so, you'll be able to see more result-based growth. But in terms of us, just as a staff and as a team, we've had so much fun. These girls are so fun to coach. They're so easy to coach just top to bottom. And so that's made our jobs as a staff a lot easier. But I would say, man, it's just a product of being able to understand what the big picture is here and understand that we're building and we're learning and we're growing, and in due time we'll be able to see those results that we all want.
So we always talk about the players, but you as a coach, you know, being a young coach, you're coaching under one of the greats, you know, when it comes to women's basketball, Coach Kurt Miller. Like, how have you been able to learn from him to maybe someday we see you leading on the sideline?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been an honor. I started out as an intern for Kurt in Connecticut. I started out as the intern, The year after that, I was promoted to be equipment manager. The year after that is when he came and got the LA job, and I was promoted to be player development. And then in year 4, I got an opportunity to be an assistant coach. So, I mean, it's been an honor and it's been a blessing just to learn from somebody who's had so much success at multiple different levels in the WNBA specifically. But again, it's just what I tell Zaya and I tell the other players, that you got to just put your head down and work as hard as you can, and let the results and let the chips fall where they may, and just trust that your hard work eventually will pay off. And I tell Zaya and like the other young players that I'm not telling them anything that I haven't experienced myself.
Okay.
As I said, I went from being an intern 4 years ago to now having the opportunity to be an assistant. So I know firsthand that when you work as hard as you can and you do the right things, that eventually in due time the results come, and you get opportunities like this to come and coach the best players in the world. So I'm forever grateful for Kurt for giving me those opportunities.
Is that next for you? Are you looking to hopefully one day be a head coach?
I think I kind of just stay where my feet are, and I kind of just trust whatever process God has for me. Stepping up in Kurt's position to be the head coach for that one game. Being a head coach was never something that was a goal of mine, but it the opportunity presented itself, and then I sat back after that and reflected on like, wow, that was an amazing experience, and now it kind of has fueled me to be motivated. I'm not sure if head coach is my goal, but I am motivated to just continue coaching and just trying to be the best for the players ultimately.
I feel it. So I gotta ask this question. Rakia wanted me to ask, who's your favorite?
Oh, that's funny. I can't pick a favorite. I love them all, definitely. But in terms of a rookie, let's say this. A rookie that can play in the game today will give invisible ink. Put this in invisible ink. That is Rakia Jackson.
Hey, man, so we just heard from Coach Henry, LA Sparks fans. Hey, go Sparks.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Sparks Weekly. We are at halftime, and man, this has been a great game. The Sparks were really off to a hot start. We had a lead of over 10 points, but the Seattle Storm and Gabby Williams have come through. I want to give a major shout out here at halftime to Azarae Stevens. She is on fire defensively and offensively and getting those boards. Also, big shouts out to De'Erica Hamby, who just passed up Lisa Leslie for the Sparks single season rebounding record. So big shouts out to our MVP De'Erica Hamby. We'll check back in with you after the game.
What's up, LA Sparks fans? As you know, we're used to it by now. I hate to say, the Sparks come up short 90-82 in a very hard-fought game. Yeah. Another game that goes down to the wire against a team that's going to be fighting for a WNBA championship. I am Mike Hill Matthew here with LA Sparks Weekly with the one and only DJ Tracy Treese. DJ, what did you see tonight in this tough loss for the LA Sparks?
It was almost a mirror image of the last game we played. It was a strong first quarter, soft second and third quarter, and then a little stronger finish.
Okay.
But by that time, you was already kind of behind the ball. But there were a lot of glimpses of great things.
Yeah.
Azarae Stevens, whoo,
yeah.
2 games in a row with those double digits.
18 points, 15 rebounds, doing her thing, made 4 threes, joined a very special club with a 15-plus points, rebounds, and then the 4 threes, but you got it.
Yeah. Azarae did a lot of good things. Odyssey Sims, I just like that
she was balling.
fierceness that she plays with, right? So that's the biggest thing that I saw is like we talk about turning a new leaf, but you're seeing little glimpses of that because we have a hard end of the schedule. Everybody we playing at the end is at the top of the charts. So it feels good to be competitive. We're not getting blown out by 20 every game. We're not even getting blown out every game. It's really competitive until it comes down to the last minute.
And you mentioned Odyssey, who was playing well, going back and forth with Skylar Diggins in a great matchup, but she goes down late with a hand injury. Crystal Dangerfield is thrown to the game, who hadn't played the entire game, and things just got muggy and nasty, and it didn't end well. But shout out to the Sparks, 4 players in double figures, led by the one and only Rakia the Year, Rakia Jackson, who did her thing, 22 points. You're going to hear Coach talk about her growing game and her growing as a playmaker, but she did a lot of great things. But what did you see from that foursome that came out and was able to get double figure, which was Ray, Azarae, Rakia, and Odyssey?
I think they played as a unit. I think they were all playing great defense. They were being offensively aggressive. You know, so just going outside of your way to hunt shots and find different ways to score, slash into the basket. Rakia had really great passes. I don't think we're talking about that enough because we saw her become a great offensive player, but she had that nice little sweep behind the back pass to Odyssey right when she was open. So it's really, I think they're getting more comfortable with each other, and they're deciding we ain't got nothing else to lose, so we just going to play as hard as we can.
And with a team that fights so hard and that's so close, it show you how tough it is to win a basketball game in the WNBA. When they were there, down 2 points, of course Odyssey goes down. But Azarae, who was 4 for 6 from the 3, misses. Air balls, a wide open 3. And then you have Ray, who at the end misses 3 free throws. And little stuff like that can be the difference between winning and losing. And with this team being now 70 and 30, they are learning these little things that they hope to carry over into next year. So we're hopeful. You're going against NECA and, you know, the
Skylar
Storm.
Diggins, who was, you know, scouting us out last night with the glasses on, visualizing
with
her
the
victory.
scope, making sure she saw everything right. You have, you know, Gabby. They just have such a great team, and you knew it was going to be tough. But just to see the fight from the ladies was very, very big time. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the fans to check out this post-game presser because it was fire, especially from Coach Kurt Miller, who had a lot to say. So you guys check it out.
Super proud of these guys. With their 3rd game in 4 nights and a back-to-back, the focus, attention, and then ultimately their effort tonight was impressive, and you know, super proud of them. I thought they put themselves in position. I think with 3 minutes to go, it's still a 1-possession game. You know, hard when Odyssey went out. She was probably on track to play all 40 minutes, and it was, you know, she was willing us and Skylar was willing them. So, you know, it was a really, really well played game. I thought both teams adjusted to the physicality around the rim. The officials let a lot of go tonight, but because of that, there was some flow in our game. And so I just thought it was a really good basketball game. And, you know, again, a lot easier to walk into that locker room tonight and talk to them about all the positives that we did. And again, another opportunity that we put ourselves in position to learn from and how to finish. A few turnovers in that 4th quarter, but overall, you know, just super excited. Azarae with another monster rebounding night. The stats are out there. I'll let our PR people make sure that the stats are being shared with you. But when Azarae over these 2 games is, you know, in the same conversation of Lisa, NECA, Candace, you know it's a really impressive 2-game stretch. And then also in league-wide, those, I think it was in league history, 15-plus points, 15-plus rebounds with 4 made threes. In the history, I think she joins like a Tina Charles and a
Stewie.
Oh yeah, it's a UConn reunion. You know, just really impressive. So, you know,
thought Odyssey really ran us tonight, and it really stayed aggressive and played downhill. So that was a good basketball game, and proud to be a part of it.
I have questions for Odyssey. I didn't see exactly what happened there in the second half. Looked like something, happened with your finger. What went down there that kind of forced you to come out of the game, and how are you feeling afterwards?
I just landed on my hand, but I'm okay. I got x-rays and everything.
This is for you, Azare. Just aggressive Azare is, really amazing with what you've been able to do these last 2 games. How do you keep that going to finish off the season?
Yeah, I mean, we've been going against like big post players, so I know like me and Derek and Lee have had to step up, and I don't know, I just think I play better when I don't think and I'm just aggressive. I think it helps the team come out and be more aggressive, and just gets us all attacking, and that's I think what we need to do. Sometimes I feel like we overthink, and I know I personally do that a lot, so I just try to come out and be as aggressive as I can, and not necessarily always shooting, but like in the intangibles, defense, rebounding, and it's been pretty good these last couple games, so I'm just going to keep doing that.
For Odyssey, Coach has been talking about how these past 2 games with Connecticut and then these 2 games with Seattle, that you're kind of treating this as like mini playoff series almost. As somebody who's been to the postseason before, has played a lot in this league, what have you seen from this young group, in terms of what can translate towards, a playoff series?
I mean, we go into every game, of course, having a mindset to play hard, win, have fun. We don't have anything to lose. So what we control is our effort. Whether you play a lot of minutes or not, go out there and give it your all. I think that's more important because it trickles down from 1 all the way to 12. It's contagious. So I just think that we're staying together. We have a young group, but you see glimpses of how good we can be. So I think that we continue to stay on each other, correct the little things, and continue to just get better every game. You see it, like I said, you see little glimpses of it, and as we continue to grow, maybe a new team next year, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but the group that we have now, we're just staying connected and just trying to play hard. We love each other. Our energy is really high in the locker room all the time, whether we win or lose. So we stay together. This is a good group that really wants to learn and get better. So we have the right young ones together for sure.
So Azrae, I asked you earlier about Gabby being back in the league, and now you basically had like a duel against each other for most of the game. So how was that?
It was cool. Like at one point I looked up and I'm like, whoa, we're both like making threes, like what's going on? But I mean, it was cool. Like it's fun to compete. Obviously everyone can see how good of friends we are, but it's cool to get out there and block her shot. So that was fun.
Azrae, you talked last night about just kind of setting yourself up for a good future next season with this stretch. How do you feel like you're doing that?
Yeah, I think we are improving. I wish we could get some wins, but we're improving. I think, like Coach said, like we felt good in the locker room today, and we haven't been feeling like that, honestly. So I just think like we're focusing on the stuff that we can control, and those are things that you have to do before you necessarily see the wins. So when we start winning, we're going to be doing it the right way, which is really important. So I think we're building that every game.
Odyssey, this is for you. You came from a hardship contract. You're on a hardship contract. You've been in the league for a long time. What does this performance mean to you? And just reflecting on how far you've came in the league.
I've just been staying ready. Been in and out the league the last couple of years. Just motivating myself. I do have a son, so he motivates me to just never quit. I'm an example for him. So, I mean, I've just been working hard. I've never quit. I know I'm not done playing yet. Don't know when I will be done, but I still have some left in the tank. So just continuing to just come in, play hard, and you never know what's going to happen. So I'm excited to be with this group, of course. I want to come back if that's possible, but I'm just having fun. I came to LA with nothing on my shoulder, just a fresh start. Everybody has literally had their arms wide open when I came. Gelling with my teammates more. In the locker room, like I said, the energy is really, really high. Of course, it would be better if we was winning, but like Azrae said, we're improving, and that's the biggest thing. And when we do start winning, it's gonna feel that much better because we'll remember this moment to set us up for the future.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Coach, DJ, Infanity TV. One of the positive stats that jumps out immediately to me is how the three-point percentage for tonight. We really held Seattle to a limited amount of threes. Can you speak to, from a coaching perspective, how we accomplished that?
Yeah, I think obviously, Azrae led us that way, and the way that they were playing defense and congesting the paint led to some opportunities for post players to have opportunities to shoot threes, and certainly Azrae took advantage of that. We've been really wanting to increase our attempts without taking bad threes, of course. Modernize basketball as much as we believe in getting the ball in the paint and then spraying it around. We wanted to increase our threes, and so I still think we can take more and execute to more. But also, we have a wing in Rakia Jackson who is really talented back to the basket wing. And so we're playing through the paint, but the three is going to be important to us. I appreciate they stayed confident and looked for it, and we shot the ball well. I'd love to shoot a little bit better at the rim, but, Ezzy is a really good rim protector. Gabby is, an elite athlete. Nneka is Nneka. So it's not always the easiest team to score from the paint. But again, we did a lot of good things, just a little short for the win, but a lot of good things offensively.
Coach, with 6 minutes left, it was a tight game, and then that's when Seattle kind of, applied pressure. They went on a 12-4 run and essentially sealed the victory for themselves. What did you see there that kind of made the offense stall, and what adjustments can be made to prevent that on Sunday?
Yeah, I think one of the things analytically is Seattle's a trapping ball screen team more than anyone else in the league this year. And, in tight situations, they had a couple effective traps, turned us over or tied us up. And, those hurt, obviously limit your opportunity to get a shot on goal, and they can take advantage. So increased possessions for them while ours decreased in that fourth quarter. And then I think it was hurt. I have nothing but good things to say about Crystal. It's not an easy situation to come in where you've sat the entire game, and then you get put into a game where it's anyone's game with Odyssey playing as well as she was, having to go out with the injury. All that contributed. And again, everything's going to be, just turned up intensity-wise, physicality-wise in tight games. And we know how talented they were. They were just a tiny bit better than us tonight in the big moments, and they made some big plays. With that said, we missed a couple shots. Azrae shot the ball like crazy, but she got a big one in the corner late, right? We'd love to have that again, but so we'll take a look. We'll take a look at what we can do and treat game 2 as we will, this Seattle game up there, and look to get back at it. It's not an easy place to play, so it'll be a good opportunity for us.
Hey, Coach, shifting gears a little bit, you've talked about the roots and kind of cleaning up the mess here. I think those of us who've covered the Sparks for a while, we can see that, we can feel that, we definitely can see the love. But there's been conversations throughout the league about statements made by the commissioner and the emotions behind that. I'm sure that's happening in the locker room as well here. Have you heard some of those emotions, and how are you helping guide them through that?
Yeah, big thing is to be supportive. We've played 3 games in 4 days, so some of the things I'm a little bit, I'm not on my phone all the time, so not everything. But I will say this, that there's no place for racism. There's no place for bigotry. There's no place for the hatred that we've seen from a lot of different fan bases. It is incredible where women's basketball is right now. I've been involved in the game in my 35th year, and it is at an all-time high, and it is truly special and a humbling honor to be involved with. But I've also seen some ugliness this year that there's no place for, because the game is in an insanely good place and only rising. And so we can't tear it down from within with people that, love this game also. And so there's just no place. Our league is so special to be a part of because of the diversity within our league. And to watch our sisterhood in our league of those 144 players, I use that metaphorically, whatever the total number is, how much that they truly care, and it's a sisterhood. To watch outside people try to tear at that fiber is frustrating because our game is in a really, really good place, and it's fun to have the eyes and attention that we are having right now, but the hatred has to stop. And for someone like myself, who's also a part of a marginalized group, the hatred that I get, I'm not, according to the DM people that are, nameless, I'm a bad coach because of my sexuality, not because I have a bad timeout or a bad night or, called the wrong coverage or play the wrong people. It motivates me, so I won't turn off my damn DM because if some, keyboard warrior thinks that's cool, and I got it already tonight. It's just, there's just no place at it. It motivates me because I'm the only one in my marginalized group doing what I'm going to do, and it makes me more hungrier than ever to keep representing that there is a place for my group. Also, a gay male in professional sports can impact the next generation of someone that's scared to death right now at their home, that they can be who truly they are and love sports and be good in sports. So it just motivates me, this hatred that's around. But for our players, I'm a 50, whatever I am, 55 now. I don't really care anymore. I don't have anything else to prove. But what I do want to do is use my platform to show that there is a place for gay men in professional sports. And but I care how these women are being treated in this league and the ugliness from some angles that are coming into our league. There's just no place for it because the women in this league, as much as I compete against those other teams and and get fiery with them, I love each and every one of these guys in this league, and we have a special league, and it's got to stop. Mic drop, but I got two more.
It's tough to go after that. But just take it back to the court with Rickea, seeing her grow so much offensively, of course, defensively as well. Just what have you seen from her as a playmaker that as far as her growing as the season goes on?
Yeah, just, again, we talk about Rickea's growth, and just in this short amount of time, even in the last 2 weeks, the amount of attention that she's getting by opponents and the amount of people and bodies being thrown at her and the physicality that she's now seeing. It's like, how do you guard Rickea Jackson? Just to see her growth as a willing passer now through it is fun to watch. I loved, and I told her in the locker room after the game, she was hunting and wanted the ball in crunch time. You don't always see that in a rookie. They could defer to De'Erica and Azare and, Odyssey, people that have been around a lot longer. She wanted the ball. She wanted every play for her down the stretch as a first option. And again, I love the fact that she can go score the basketball, but she also is a willing passer, and that's only going to get better as she commands the attention that she's getting from the opponents now.
Coach, a historic night for De'Erica Hamby tonight. She broke Lisa Leslie's single-season rebound record. Just how big has her presence been as a veteran for this young team?
So important, Mama Hamby. She's just been so important for us, and carried so much and shouldered so much early. It has to contribute to some of the fatigue now. And then, got to represent our country in, an unbelievable opportunity in the Olympics. So I'm just super proud of her. I know the numbers have dipped a little bit, but I still think she's the most improved player in this league. And what she does from a leadership by example and her motor is just, so important to what we're trying to build. And that record, should be celebrated and make sure that people understand how historic that is, that with the history of this league and the history of this franchise, to become the all-time leading rebounder in a single season is pretty special. Thank you.
So we're back. We just heard from Coach. We heard from Odyssey. We heard from Azare. Odyssey said she's okay.
Yeah,
So hopefully
which
that
is a good
means she
thing.
can, play the rest of the season, but we'll figure out. Azare, I had to ask that question. Aggressive Azare, how do we keep getting that look?
Yeah.
Because the way that you're dominating, getting rebounds, scoring, blocking shots and things like that, how do we continue to get that? What do you think it's going to take for Azare to make this her norm?
I think iron sharpens iron. I think every time we play great teams, we have great games. Tonight there was a UConn connection with her and Gabby. They're really great friends. I've been watching Azare's story. She already know I be stalking it, so it's cool that I say it here. But she was like looking forward to dinner with my best friend.
Okay.
Those kind of things. When you got things to play for, you have great games where you can show up. Also, she now realizes that she is the leader. Her team plays better when she plays that way.
Yes.
And she wants to take a little bit of the pressure off everybody else. So I think we only going to see more from Z. Let's remind everybody, LA Sparks fans, she's a champion. Z done won. She done did the thing before. So having a veteran leader like that who can lead a young team and says that they're already seeing great things, I'm very confident that the Sparks are going to turn this around.
And when you have a player like her, De'Erica, who knows what it takes, it's good to have for the future when you have some of the young pieces that this team have. But, man, shout out to Kurt Miller. He spoke about a lot when it comes to, the commissioner and what she had to say. We're going to save that. I want to save that for our round table so that we can discuss it. But big time stuff that he had there. But he knows, hey, we have nothing to lose. These are learning things that we're hoping that we can push forward into next season with. So Sparks fans, you already know what it is. We have.
Wait, before we go into that, I'm gonna touch a little bit
Okay.
on what Coach said.
Okay, all right. Let's
My
talk about
favorite
some
thing
of it.
about what Coach said, and y'all just watched the press conference, so you see it.
Yeah.
I love how supportive he is.
Oh, very
It
supportive.
don't matter what you going through. He like mental health. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
I
We
got
gonna
you.
body it. We gonna got
Yeah.
okay. What you got? Okay, let me babysit your kids and play with your kids.
Yeah.
Like he is such a cool guy, and he seems so genuine.
Yeah.
Like I would want to play hard for a coach like that who's going to work with you, want to coach you, want you to be successful, but then also support you in your personal life. You just a gem in Coach Miller. So yeah.
So I'm somebody to give him a hard time because I'm big on the wins and losses.
Yep.
But I know this is more because being a head coach is not just a coach of a team. You're coaching these players, life coach as well, because you're there with them so much. So shout out to him for being who he is, being great. That's why I think you're going to have to bring him back next year
For sure.
and see what he can do with some better pieces with the team. But before we go, we got to give our players of the game.
Yep.
Who do you have as your player of the game today?
I'm gonna give it to Azare Z Stevens.
Okay.
With a little bit of nickname of Rodman again. I don't know what is happening, but them rebounds are rebounding. I think she's making all of the difference for us.
Yeah.
She's keeping us
Staying
competitive
aggressive.
in the game. You know what I mean? When you can go get those defensive and offensive rebounds, get the putbacks, and then score some threes.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you having a great game. So I'm giving it to Azare Stevens.
I could have went with Ray, who I chose before the game because she ended up with 14. But I got to go with Azare. Like, this was the player I thought when she came back, I'm like, this Azare with what De'Erica was doing earlier, I was like, they're going to be dangerous. But we just didn't get that after the break. But now we're getting it, and she's kind of showing that, hey, if I can be here next year with a De'Erica, with Rakia, with Cam, that I can be a real piece. So shout out to you, Z, doing your thing, playing great against your best friend. But it was a tough loss. Once again, Sparks go down 90-82 to the Seattle Storm. But hey, they have more games to play. They got to see the Storm again Sunday, this time in Seattle. Going to be a great test for these ladies on the road. I can't wait to see how they step up. Michael Matthew, DJ Treacy Treese, we are the LA Sparks Weekly. We see you guys next time.